I'm 20, have a job, nice flat, long-lasting relationship with my partner, and to me I would view myself as successful. You probably expect me to go and tell you a story about how I started out as a chaotic person with mental health issues and how I was referred to Young Devon and they saved me. But the truth is, emotional health doesn't always go in a nice neat order. When I first came into contact with Young Devon, I was 13, had lots of friends, I was a high achiever at school, excelled in some classes to take my GCSEs a year early. Not exactly the story of saving somebody from the jaws of doom and despair. I was not referred, I wasn't pregnant, heavily on drugs, stealing, breaking the laws, or being labelled as a yob. I wasn't on any of the radars or making you worry over your case files. In fact, when I first encountered Young Devon, I was sat on a bench eating lemon cake with my best friends, and to the outside world I didn't have a care in the world. So you're probably wondering why I'm here at a conference to do with emotional well-being and happiness. Emotional well-being and happiness to me is stability, strong healthy relationships, lots of smiles through your day-to-day life, but most importantly, when you look at yourself and you can say, yes, I'm doing well and I am mostly happy. And on the day when I had that luck to bump into Young Devon, I felt pretty much this way. I didn't expect that around the corner my life was about to fall into small pieces that I didn't know how to put together again. For a year or so, I was involved in all kinds of positive activities with Young Devon, but then things in my family started to break down. My dad had Huntington's disease, my mum suffered with depression and also had fits, which made me scared she would seriously injure herself. My mum had remarried and then a new baby came into the family and I was quietly but painfully struggling. I started secretly self-harming, was confused about my sexuality and started to experiment with drugs, and my relationship with my family completely fell apart. Now I know it's essential to provide services for people who already have major problems, and I do know that you will mainly focus on helping them. But if there hadn't been a Young Devon worker meeting me in the community to get normal young people like myself involved in community projects, then I wouldn't have any trusting relationship in place when I hit my lowest point. So low, in fact, that I ended up homeless. I was also starting to panic that my dad was now terminally ill and that Huntington's disease is hereditary. Going for tests and waiting to find out my own fate sent me over the edge. My dad was drinking and on a road to his own self-destruction. My mum found it difficult to know how to show me any compassion or simply just communicate with me anymore. Referring me to a stranger at this point would have been completely ineffective, but I already had my lifeline carefully built over the previous years in place. I did not care what happened to me, but the people who knew me so well at Young Devon could see everything, and they did care, and that was why I survived. So I'm going to ask you, what was the difference? Firstly, I'd already grown to trust them by having a chance to build a relationship before I had big problems. As I changed my life, it went up and down. They just came along the journey with me. They didn't just signpost me away, they still introduced me to different services, but the people I trusted stayed alongside me all the way. I was a person to them, not just a stat on a file or a case to solve. Secondly, you can only spend so much of your time thinking about the big problems. You also need to be positive about the things to build you up and distract you sometimes. Having good social groups, making friends, having activities to explore issues that were very personal, such as drama and volunteering, made a big difference to little parts of my day, making me feel happy. Eventually, the more of your day gets to be happy, and soon enough you tip the scale so you are more happy than sad. Sounds simple, but they had to really fight to keep some of the activities going, and they travelled miles around the country just to pick young people up and get them there. You don't get that kind of extra effort usually. Thirdly, having a good range of services from organisation is vital. The things that Young Devon offered me was endless. I was able to get advice from the Yes Centres and then accommodation and supported lodging scheme with a family to support me by giving me a safe home until I was ready to move on independently. Finally, I have volunteered with Young Devon for 7 to 8 years, on and off, and the most important thing that I've found is the relationships I've built with the staff and have been constant. I expect they will always be there for me because they aren't afraid of the word friendship. They aren't scared to commit to you for a long haul. If you are lucky enough to have a stable family when you move away, expect you will be there in the background. Young Devon have become like a piece of my family. I don't need them now, but I do want to be part of it still. Thank you.